We are back, baby. We are fucking back.
Hey, what's going on, guys? LoganJYA, Drykage here. I'm going to keep this super short. We're in the midst of a DRYTRON marathon. That's right, Nationals right around the corner, but new DRYTRON support dropped in Infinite Forbidden. If you want the marathon to continue, help this video smash 100 likes. We got a full deck profile for you here and a few test hands at the tail end if you want to see the combos in action. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Without further ado, let's dive in. All right, my friends, I have been so excited to bring you this profile. We finally have new 2 and the other new DRYTRON support in hand, and this is a build that I have not shown on the channel before. I'll tell you all about what's inspired it as we go through, and we are going to be doing some combos at the tail end, just test hands, running through things, but stick around for that. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Without further ado, let's dive in to this Drykage DRYTRON list with the brand new support post info. And one final thing I'm going to add in before we get into the profile, this deck is getting closer and closer to being a budget option. I mean, of course, your extra deck staples be pricey, but the main deck core is cheap. The only card that really hasn't been reprinted is Medionis and Nova. Those cards get the reprint. This deck might be a serious, legit budget option. So Drykages, unite, let's rock and roll. All right, my friends, we're going to start off with this guy, the brand new contender, Mr. New 2, because he's so darn cool. And no, don't ask me where I got these sleeves because I wouldn't be able to tell you. It was so long ago, but this card is our new support and what gives us one-card combos. If you don't know the one-card combos, I encourage you to go check out a previous video I did. It'll be linked down below in the pinned comment, in the description, or you can just go to the channel and find it in our DRYTRON 101 playlist. We've got the whole history of DRYTRON laid out there, and it's all built up to this, Mr. New 2, who's got the worst downside in the history of any of our freaking DRYTRON support cards. I hate the fact that this card locks us out of ritual summoning anything but machines. But hey, I guess that's the balancing fact. It's what we got to deal with, and it may be worth it since we get those one-card combos. And the other cool thing about it is he enables a brand new 2-card combo, which puts up one of our classic end boards. And I give a shout out to Justin Singh for that one. If you haven't seen those combos, link down below as well. All right, now let's get into the main kit and caboodle. You already know this GOAT needs no introduction. Triple copies of Alpha, triple copies of Zeta. That's never going to change. And now our ratio has shifted immensely. We got 1 copy of Gamma, 1 copy of Delta. Oh no, what is that? Is that 1 copy of Beta? Yes, it's true. We are playing Beta now. We are being Betas, and this is because Dad exists. The new boss monster banishes DRYTRONs from the graveyard, and since I'm choosing not to play the trap card, because I think trap card's not very good, Beta is what puts those resources back in rotation. Not only does he put back the DRYTRON monsters that you banish off Dad, he also puts back DRYTRONs that are banished off of Bestials, DD Crows, any other shenanigans like that, and it puts back New 2 if it is banished off its own effect. So I thought, hey, what the heck? We run through more names than ever now since New 2 grants us more access. Let's play a copy of Beta. And then one other guy we got right here, I want to shout him out as well, is Mr. Yugioh. Okay, the reason why we play this guy is because when you open New 2, but you don't open Nova, Yugioh gets you into the Nova. And frankly, it's pretty worth it because it's just a free body you can use as a link climb piece, and it lets you end on an additional rank 1 on the end board. Now move on to the Ritual Squad. 1 copy of Dad. Big Daddy Draconids is being chilling. I got that nice QCR. Again, now this is just one of those sleeves. But again, don't know where to get them. But if somebody finds it, leave in the comments. We'll pin that as well. Yeah, I'm playing 1 copy of the Big Daddy Draconids, and I'm just going to let you know right now, we're not playing the other target. The Draconids that he floats into, I'm not choosing to play it. Why? I feel like if he gets destroyed, you're kind of already looking pretty cooked. If this guy said whenever he leaves the field by an opponent's card, or just leaves the field because of the opponent in general, then honestly, yeah, we'd play Draconids. But I'm not playing them right now. I'm just choosing to play the 1 copy of Dad as our searchable machine ritual. Of course, we're not really going to be ritual summoning things that aren't machines when we're not doing New 2 things. Of course, we're not going to be ritual summoning things that are machines. Well, of course, we're not going to be summoning any ritual that's not a machine if we're doing New 2 things. So, of course, we still want to play the 1 copy of the Big Daddy Draconids. Complemented, no surprise, with the triple copies of Ben 10. Now, I'm only playing trips because of the new 2-card combo. Shout out Justin Singh. I think we figured out the same exact line. We did it later on stream, and if we demonstrate it in the combos, you'll see it then too. But yes, maxing out Ben 10 because hard opening it is still pretty darn good. And I am choosing to main deck the one copy of Natasha. This is a point of contention now amongst DRYTRON players because they're not necessarily sure if it's worth it to play the Natasha when you're doing new 2 things. Obviously, if you use new 2, you can't resolve Natasha. But when you're going second, sometimes you gotta weigh the options. Is it gonna be worth it to go for a new 2, or should I pass on the advantage that new 2 affords in order to kill the opponent and do a traditional DRYTRON board when we're using Natasha to yoink everything that the opponent controls and go for game? I wanted to have that option. I tested the deck without it. I found myself missing it a little too often. So yes, Natasha is in the main for now. All right, the last ritual monster we're playing is Mr. Beto Buster. Vanaki is back in action, so spoiler alert as to who's coming up real soon. Beto Buster, of course, searches the magic key unlocking and makes sure Moy Beta have its spell entrap negates live, thus increasing the ceiling of your end board tenfold. Moving on, I got 1 copy of Diviner and 1 copy of Mr. Vanity's Ruler. Of course, this is a Vanaki build, so yes, we are playing the Vanity's Ruler. Does that make us a little bit degenerate? Maybe so, but I don't care. We're still going to choose to play it. And then we got triple copies of Drolin Lockbird in the main as well. Now I wanted to play one hand trap that on its own has the ability to potentially stop those obnoxious combo decks, the Fiendsmith, the Snake Eyes, the U-Bells. We got to be ready for them, and that's Droll. Droll is the one card where we can see it in the opening 5, and it gives us a shot. So I'm like, all right, baby, let's put it on in there. And there's one other going second card we play as well, but Droll also serves double duty. It is a level 1, so if we came into dire straits and needed to normal summon it to make a Moy Beta, we got that option available to us as well. All right, moving on to spell lineup, we got triple copies of Nova. E-Tally for the DRYTRON's better than ever because it is a 1-card combo now. Summoning out your new 2 can facilitate you a Vanity's Ruler, can facilitate you a Dad plus IP Masquerena very easily. We have those tutorials again in the playlist down below. And I'm playing 2 copies of the field spell Fafnir to search it out. Now listen guys, Droll is going to be a very real thing, so I didn't want to max out the Fafnir. Not only that, but Nova is a hard once per turn. Playing 6 copies of Nova, the equivalent of it, since I'm not playing other targets for Fafnir outside of the ritual spell. Yeah, no, I didn't think it was really worth it this time around. But if you disagree with that, let me know in the comments down below, because I do recognize the fact, yes, this is full combo on its own, technically speaking. And then, of course, finally, this needs no introduction, Medionis DRYTRON, one of the most gorgeous cards that you can choose as your background in Master Duel. Yeah, we're playing it. How fresh that is. All right, got some one-ofs. We got 1 copy of the 1-for-1 because you can summon new 2 off of it. 1 copy of the Foolish Burial to become whatever name you need it to be. 1 copy of the Instant Fusion to negate those hand traps, especially the Droll. Same thing goes for Mr. Called by the Grave. And I did this in kind of a weird order, but we also have more copies of names here. Triple copies of the Cyber Emergency, searches out anything else. And then our other going second card, I alluded to it earlier, but I think this card needs no introduction. Mr. or Mrs. Forbidden Droplets, the thing that does the negate. Again, this is another card that you can see in your opening 6 that gives you a shot against those broken meta decks. Now, yes, I know they have ways of playing around it. Let me cope. Final card in the main deck, card number 40, is the Magic Key Unlocking that goes with our Beto Buster. We search this out to establish the killer end board that does not lose to Forbidden Droplets or another form of spell and trap removal that would negate our Vanity's Ruler. All right, that's everything for the main. We're going to move on to the extra next, and this is a change. We're playing triple copies of Moy Beta for the first time in forever, I think, in a profile that I've shown on this channel. Yeah, we're playing triple copies of Moy Beta. Why? Because you're going to find yourself going through more of them, especially as you're playing new 2. And if you find yourself machine locked or you're trying to summon out Big Daddy Draconid's dad in the house, you might find yourself needing extra copies of Moy Beta. Next, we got the 1 copy of Fuko, or you know what we like to call her. You know what? I think YouTube gives you a quota, so I'm just going to say it. Yeah, we got 1 copy of Fuko, big chillin' in here, ready to rock and roll. Tell those Tenpai players to Sugma. I find myself, if we have the extra 2 materials, will opt to go for Fuko over IP Masquerena on the end board, depending on the situation. Now, of course, your results will vary if you choose to do that, but I thought it was a worthwhile strategy. It also complements one of our side deck cards. Take a guess what that's going to be. Phenomenal, phenomenal Fuko. We love you. And then our final 2 X-Seeds, we got the 1 copy of Downer Magician. I put her back in to go with Big Daddy Zeus because I find Zeus to be such a power card even nowadays. Gonna run through Link Monsters next. I got 1 copy of the Relinquished Anima. We do need a Link 1 sometimes to go with our Nova. Less so nowadays with new 2, but I still think it's worthwhile to play. 1 copy of the IP Masquerena to tag out to whatever you need her to be. She goes very nicely with her more expensive cousin, hopefully not expensive for too long, SP Little Knight. I hope she gets a reprint real soon. I'm playing double copies of Mr. Dynamondo for spinning things. This is one of our main targets to tag out with our IP, or we're using it as a main form of removal going second. And then final link monster we got in here is Big Daddy Boral Sword. Now, keen eyes will notice a distinct absence of the Apollosa. Why are we not playing Apo? Well, guess what? We've actually got an inarchetypal Apollosa, and his name is Dad. So I don't think we need to play Apo. If we want to put up monster negates like that, we're going to put up Dad. Simple as that. I'm playing our Diviner targets, those being Entis and the Herald of the Arclight. No surprises there. And the final card is the Millenniumize Restrict that pairs with that Instant Fusion to give us those protections from the hand traps. Alright, main and extra are done. Let's swing through the side. Remember, your results will vary depending on the meta you intend to encounter. If you're going to Nationals, you're going to be playing DRYTRON. You're going to want to be ready for those Snake Eyes, those U-Bells. You're going to have some counter players playing things like Dimension Shifter. Cashteer is going to be a real thing. You got to be ready for that 10 pie. You're going to be left, right, and center. Fortunately enough, you have a good matchup for them. You just summon Fucko, you call it a day. Things to keep in mind before we go into the side deck, but just know your results will vary. Make it for the tournament and the environment you expect to play in. All right, first and foremost, still going to play the Lancia. For those auto-win matchups, we can search it off our Ben 10. And this is where we get crazy, guys. I don't think I've ever shown this in a DRYTRON profile, but I am choosing to play triple copies of Sphere Mode in the side because the end boards have gotten so big and massive. I find that a lot of people are asleep on the fact, hey, we don't need to normal summon. We don't really need to summon Diviner. In fact, we need to normal summon less so than ever. Sphere Mode, baby. Sphere Mode. I didn't want to go Lava Golem because that puts a fire monster in the opponent's field that keeps the princess alive if they're playing Snake Eye. Yeah, no thank you. I do find that these end boards are featuring 2 to 3 to 4 monsters occasionally, usually 3 to 4, and if there is only 2 and you're playing against the Snake Eye matchup, for example, you just wait for them to push forward that IP Masquerena. Before they tag it out, you slap down that Sphere Mode. So you got to play in a little bit, but A, not a big deal, and even while you're doing so, it may be making some of your other cards live. Sphere Mode, diabolical card, guys. Give this a try if you're trying to break those boards. I also decided to play some more hand traps on the side for when we know we're going second. Triple copies of the effect value to bring down the ceiling of the end board. Same thing goes for the infinite impermanence. Now, of course, I did just show you guys a Sphere Mode. And know that you should, if you open Sphere Mode in a hand trap, try and make it so your opponent's still going to end on 3 monsters. As weird as that sounds, it's just going to be adapting. Be mindful of the game state and how you want to break their board. So use your hand traps at the right time. Depending on what you have in hand, know when to play them. It's that simple. And then our last cards on the side is a bit of a hodgepodge. I've got 1 copy of the Lightning Storm, 1 copy of the Harpy's Feather Duster, and I'm playing these as one-ofs because we're also playing 2 copies of the Triple Tactics Thrust. You guys know how much I love thrusting, and thrusting for things like Nova or other engine pieces sure as heck feels good, but sometimes you're getting hand-trapped to death or you're eating a droll. Well, guess what? You got to thrust for that dirty Harpy's Feather Storm. Everybody knows this combo by now. You end on Fuko, you slap down the Feather Storm after you've eaten too many hand traps, you call it a day. This is how we beat things like Shifter. This is how we beat things like those matchups that hand trap us to death, but we're still able to establish rank 1. Guess what? We don't care. We basically did the same thing as hitting you with the Chaos Max Lock in the form of a trap card. So I think this engine is a phenomenal going first side deck package. All right, everyone, that is it for the profile, but don't go anywhere because I want to show you some things we can do while we're comboing with the DRYTRONs. I'm just going to do some test hands. We're going to run on through things. Let's dive in and see what kind of end boards we can put up. Alright, party people, we're going to do this kind of a weird little testing style. I do want to flag that, again, I said this at the start, I did just move, so we're trying things out with camera angles. Obviously, the setup is far from finished, so forgive any amateur looks and feels, some glares here and there. I appreciate your patience as we get things set up here in the new space. And again, don't forget, we got a DRYTRON marathon coming up. I've got other builds I want to showcase. I've got people I want to bring onto the channel. If you want to see that stuff, help this video smash 100 likes, and we are going to have the next video going up next week. You already know. But without further ado, let's hop into our first test hand. And what are we looking at here? We got an emergency, a dad, called by, Droll, and instant fusion. What the heck are we going to do with a hand like this? I tell you what, it might look kind of crummy, but I think we can definitely make this work. So we're going to be very resilient from hand traps, potentially. If we need to, I think we can normal summon that Droll, but we might not need to. We could use the monster we summon off the instant fusion. It's going to depend. So let's just start things off with the instant. It's kind of a no-brainer. We'll throw out the... Oh, what am I doing? I almost forgot the most important part of the field. There we go. Now I'm going to be nice and situated. I'm actually going to move the whole operation back a little bit. We'll start things off with the instant fusion, just like so, summoning out the Millenniumized Restrict. Then I will activate the Cyber Emergency, searching out from deck. Who are we going to grab here? Well, I'll tell you what. Since we already have a hard-drawn dad, I'm going to go first for Zeta, and you'll see why a little bit later on. I'm actually going to choose to play safe around hand traps from the get-go. Start things off with the Zeta pitching dad to summon itself. This will grab the ritual spell. I'm going to normal summon that Droll. Why the F not? I'll overlay Droll and Zeta into Moy Beta. Moy Beta effect to Foolish. Since we opened up with dad, I'm kind of already committing to go for that sort of line. I'm going to go for the new 2 here. We are currently 1, 2, 3, 4 summons deep. I don't think I can play around the nib right now. You may be thinking, Logan, why don't you just go Meteonis and use the whole Moy Beta? Well, guess what? We don't have a machine under there. We got a Droll under there. So we're going to play into nib here. My apologies. I'm playing safe from the other hand traps, but I'm going to have to eat the nib if push came to shove. Not a big deal. I'm going to go for the new 2 effect to search. Here, I'm going to go for your Sartron because we haven't had Nova yet in hand. So I'm going to special summon out that your Sartron and use his effect to grab us Nova. Like so. Go Nova. An overlay for another copy of Moy Beta. Shout out to Brio for the beautiful extended art. You know I love and appreciate this card, my friend. And I'm going to go for the Meteonis for the first time. I'll use 2 off of this Moy Beta, as well as the Zeta that's underneath our other one. That'll be over 5k, so we're able to summon out Big Daddy. Next, I'll use Meteonis' effect Engrave. I'll reduce, doesn't really matter too much. We'll do Moy Beta. So I'm going to use Alpha's effect Engrave after that, pitching off that Moy Beta, summoning him back. And I'm going to use his effect to search out that Beto Buster. Boom. What I'm going to do for this end board is, now that we're safe from the rest of the hand traps, thanks to the dad, we no longer need the Millenniumized Restrict as much. I'm going to link these 2 off into the IP Mask Arena on the top. Then I'm going to activate that Meteonis we activated earlier. Pitching off the Ursartron, summoning out the Beto Buster. We can use Beto Buster's effect to search. That'll grab us the Magic Key unlocking. And ending on this end board feels pretty good to me. If we take a quick inventory here, we've got 2 monster effect negate and destroys off of the Draconids off the rip. We tag it out with IP into a Dynamondo. We can theoretically summon it back and get another 2 negates on top of that. We also have 1 spell and trap negate provided by the Fafnir, another provided by the Magic Key unlocking. We can set that Call by the Grave, and we've got even more interruption locked and loaded. Now, I'm going to flag the fact I busted the entire nut and put my whole hand onto the field, but we're still able to end on this board with a 1-name hand. So this is how far we can push it thanks to new 2 in a very suboptimal situation. Alright, y'all, I want to do one more test hand to bring this to a close. Hopefully you guys enjoy these. If you want to see more content like this, let me know in the description down below, and we'll do it in the next DRYTRON video. Again, this is going to be a DRYTRON marathon. We are celebrating the release of the new support. We haven't had support in years, so we got to be thankful for that, and we're going to be showing it off. Look no further, because we got the channel for you here. Our next opening hand here is quite engine heavy, and oh boy are we cooking. So one thing I will flag, it's a little bit duplicative to have the Zeta and the Meteonis. Obviously that is not the greatest, but it's all good. This hand is insane. I will let you know straight off the rip. It's tough to decide what you want to use for your bait card here because all these are so good. I'm gonna flag, since we started with the 1-for-1, and this only is able to summon new 2 and nothing else, I'm actually going to use this first off the rip. Now, another thing I'm going to flag is I don't really care if this resolves or not. If this gets ashed, I'm actually fine. We can still full combo around that, and getting the ash out of the way actually helps us out because it would have been a little bit more tricky if they hit something like the Nova or an Alpha later on. So we'll go for the 1-for-1 here that we're just going to do for the sake of this demonstration uninterrupted, but if you guys want to see us play through hand traps too, I'm down to do that. If you really want to see that happen, you should come join the live stream. There'll be a link in the description down below, and I'm going to start streaming on YouTube as well as Twitch. So if you guys want to see the full combo, look no further, link in the description. But 1-for-1, pitch Zeta, summon out new 2 effect to search. Since we already have access to Nova with the Fafnir, I'm going to go straight for the Alpha. No need to go for your Sartron this time around, it'd just be duplicative. I'm actually going to hold the Nova until later on. I'll go Emergency next. And here I'm going to grab Delta so we can get some free draws as we go through our combo. We go best effect in the world, Alpha, pitching off that Delta we just searched. Grab out a Ben 10 here. third stitch, I'm going to go for the Moy Beta Effect to Foolish. I'm going to be sending Dad, since we already have access to all the names we're going to want. I don't want to put Beta into rotation this turn when we summon off a Nova later, so I'm going to send the Dad here. That way we can establish a super early safety net, going for the Meteonis off the rip, pitching off the Moy Beta and all the materials. Again, you're not going to miss them. It's going to be absolutely worthwhile to have the Dad, because now we're Nibiru proof. We don't got to stress about that card, and any other hand traps that try and come at us for the remainder of the turn, we're fine. Now, you might be thinking right now, Logan, what the heck happened to our hand? We're down to 3 cards and a single boss monster. Guess what? We're going to rebuild all of that advantage before you can say DRYTRON best deck. So, I am going to go for the Zeta next, pitch off that Ben 10, special summon it out, Ben 10 effect to search, grab another copy of Ben 10 because I do want to keep cycling, go Meteonis effect engrave, reduce to add back to hand. Then we can go Delta effect engrave, pitching off that extra Ben 10 like so, revealing that Meteonis. I'm going to give this a few shuffles real quick just so we can see what our blank card's going to be. I'm not going to use it. Probably not, whatever it ends up being. Perfect, a card that we can't use. Natasha. We'll go Ben 10 effect to search here. This will search out the Vanity's Ruler, because that's what I'm going to choose to go for this board. We already have Dad established. Yeah, I want to make this board even more oppressive. You bet your butt. My Fafnir, throw that in the field spell zone and use it to search off the Nova. I'll Nova, tag out for a Gamma. I'm going to go for the Tribute Summon here, sacking over these 2 for the Vanity's Ruler. Next, I'll summon back the new 2 since we haven't used its Graveyard effect yet. And I'm going to try and do a anti-droplets board, I guess, since we're not ending on the Beto Buster or the Unlocking. I want to have an insurance plan to make sure we're not going to die. My insurance plan is going to be Mr. Fuko, so I'm going to summon him with the new 2 and the Zeta. And then I'm going to use Gamma's effect since we do have him locked and loaded in grave as well. I'll pitch off that Natasha, summoning back himself, and any other name. I go for Delta here. And then I'll end off this board by throwing up a Moy Beta as well. So that way, in case they try and hit us with the Imperm on the Vanity's Ruler, we do have the Negate locked and loaded for that as well. So I'm pretty happy with this board. Again, if you don't open the 2-card combo, if you don't know, it is a Nova plus a Ben 10, and you are able to end on Vanity's Ruler plus the Beto Buster and the Moy Beta Fafnir. You don't end on the Dad. We ended up going for the Dad here for extra monster effect negates. I'm just trying to do all the monsters we can crap out on the board when we go full steam ahead. But yeah, I think this is pretty much going to bring everything to a close for this video. Again, if you guys want to see that 2-card combo, check out the link in the pinned comment down below. And if you want to see all of the 1-card combos, we already did a tutorial on that as well. It's in the DRYTRON 101 playlist. But I hope you guys enjoyed this brand new piece of DRYTRON content. Again, I'm super stoked about new 2 and Dad, even though they got those nasty downsides. It's okay. I couldn't be more stoked to be playing DRYTRON in the year of our Lord 2024. So if you guys like DRYTRON as much as I do, be sure to smash that like button. Let's get over 100 likes and the marathon will continue. Subscribe for more Yu-Gi-Oh content. And that's all I got today. LoganJYA signing off. Have a great day. We'll see you beautiful people later. Peace.